Someone collapses on a crowded street, dozens of people walk past, nobody stops. You've probably seen a video like this online, and you've probably felt the same reflexive judgment everyone feels watching it. How could all those people just walk by? What is wrong with them? Here's the uncomfortable answer. Nothing is wrong with them. The real answer is far stranger and far more unsettling because it means the crowd itself is the reason nobody helped, and you would very likely have done the same thing. You'd think more witnesses would mean more help, more eyes, more hands, more chances that someone steps in. Your instinct says safety in numbers. Your instinct is exactly backward. Psychologists Bib Latin, A tilde copyright and John Darley spent years testing this directly, and what they found reshaped how we understand emergencies. In one of their classic experiments, they had participants fill out a questionnaire in a room that slowly began filling with smoke. When someone was alone in the room, they almost always got up and reported it quickly. When several people sat in the room together, each one glancing at the others, calm and still, the smoke was reported far less often and far more slowly. The exact same danger, wildly different response. The only thing that changed was how many people were in the room. So why does a crowd make people freeze instead of act? It isn't apathy. It's two separate psychological forces working together, and neither one requires anyone to be a bad person. The first force is diffusion of responsibility. When you're the only witness to something going wrong, the responsibility to act lands entirely on you. There's no one else it could belong to. But surround that same person with 9 other witnesses, and something strange happens inside the mind. The responsibility doesn't stay whole. It splits, invisibly, into 10 smaller pieces. Each person now carries less obligation than they would alone, even though the emergency hasn't changed at all. Nobody consciously decides this. It happens beneath awareness, a kind of silent psychological math that quietly excuses everyone a little. The second force is subtler and in some ways more revealing. It's called pluralistic ignorance, and it depends entirely on how people read each other's faces. When something ambiguous happens, a scream, a collapse, a shout, your first move isn't usually to act. It's to check how everyone else is reacting. If the room looks calm, you assume it must not be a real emergency, because surely someone would be panicking if it were. Psychologist Robert Cialdini has documented how heavily people rely on the behavior of others to decide what's appropriate in an uncertain situation, a shortcut he calls social proof. The catch is brutal. Everyone in that crowd is doing the exact same calculation at the exact same moment. Everyone is scanning everyone else's calm face for permission to worry, and finding it because everyone else is doing precisely the same thing. The result is a room full of people privately alarmed and outwardly composed, each one convinced that everyone else must know something they don't. Darley and Latin A tilde copyright tested this too, staging emergencies with actors who deliberately reacted with calm, neutral expressions while chaos unfolded around them. Bystanders exposed to those calm reactions consistently judged the situation as less serious and intervened less often than bystanders who witnessed the same event alone. The crowd wasn't providing safety in numbers. The crowd was actively manufacturing the illusion that nothing was wrong. Now here's the twist, the part that should genuinely unsettle you. This isn't a flaw specific to callous people or cowards or people who simply don't care. In follow-up studies, the people who failed to help weren't calm about it afterward. Many reported real distress, visible agitation, a felt urgency to act that simply never translated into movement. Their bodies knew something was wrong. Their minds, caught in the crossfire of diffused responsibility and false calm cues, never gave them the signal to move. That should change how you see every version of this story you've ever judged. It's not that bystanders don't care. It's that the social math surrounding them actively works against caring translating into action. Add enough witnesses, and the moral weight that would move any single person to help gets quietly divided until it's light enough for everyone to carry and heavy enough for no one to feel. Think about your own crowded moments, a group chat where something feels off and everyone waits for someone else to say it first, a meeting where a mistake is obviously happening and the room stays silent because nobody wants to be the one who overreacts. A packed office where a coworker is clearly struggling and everyone assumes HR or a manager or someone closer to them must already be handling it. None of these are emergencies with smoke and sirens. All of them run on the exact same ancient wiring, the same silent head count, the same borrowed calm. Here's what actually breaks the pattern, and it's almost absurdly simple: being specific, pointing at one person, making eye contact, saying their name, assigning the task directly. The moment responsibility stops being diffuse and becomes personal again, the freeze lifts almost instantly. That's not a coincidence. It's the exact mechanism running in reverse. You are not immune to this, and knowing about it won't automatically protect you in the moment, because this isn't a character flaw you can simply decide not to have. It's a structural feature of how groups process uncertainty, running quietly under everyone's radar, including yours. Someone collapses on a crowded street, dozens of people walk past, and somewhere in that silence, every single one of them is quietly, invisibly, waiting for someone else to move first.